They called him the Rocket. Every time Roger Clemens stepped on the mound, hitters braced themselves for impact. His fastball was like a missile. His glare alone could rattle even the toughest sluggers. But before the legend, before the Cy Youngs and the controversy, there was just Roger, a freckled boy from Dayton, Ohio. With oversized dreams and a glove too big for his hand, baseball wasn't always about glory for him. As a kid, it was an escape, a way to feel powerful when life around him wasn't. When his family moved to Houston, Texas, the young Clemens found himself in a new environment. But it didn't take long for him to stand out. He played football, basketball, and baseball, but there was something magnetic about the mound. The duel between pitcher and batter wasn't just a game to him. It was war. At Springwoods High School, he started making noise. Scouts came, coaches whispered his name, and soon reporters began to show up. He wasn't just good, he was different. The Mets noticed enough to draft him in 1980, but Clemens turned them down. He knew he wasn't ready. The majors could wait. What he needed was sharpening. That's why he went to the University of Texas, under legendary coach Cliff Gustafson. Clemens earned nothing. Every start had to be fought for, and fight he did. He transformed into a college powerhouse, leading the Longhorns to the College World Series. In 1983, and taking home the Golden Spikes Award, his gamble had paid off. Boston came calling that same year, drafting him 19th overall. At first, he was just another arm. But Clemens arrived with a chip the size of Fenway's Green Monster. By 1986, he was unstoppable. 24 wins, a 2.48 ERA, and an MVP award on top of his first Cy Young. MVPs almost never go to pitchers, but Clemens wasn't a normal pitcher. For the next decade, he turned Fenway into his battlefield. 3 Cy Youngs, 8 All-Star selections, and countless humiliated batters. Every time he pitched, fans weren't just watching a game, they were witnessing a force of nature. Yet by 1996, the Red Sox thought he was finished. It's too many innings, too much wear. They let him walk. They couldn't have been more wrong. For Clemens, the real second act was just beginning. When Boston gave up on Clemens, many believed the Rockets' fuel was gone. But in 1997, with the Toronto Blue Jays, he proved them all wrong. At 34, an age when most pitchers were fading, Clemens unleashed one of the greatest seasons ever. 21 wins, a 2.05 ERA, and 292 strikeouts. He wasn't just good, he was dominant, and he won the Cy Young with authority. The next year, he did it again. Back-to-back, the Rocket wasn't done. He was reinvented. But Toronto was just the staging ground. In 1999, Clemens joined the New York Yankees, the most iconic franchise in baseball. It was a perfect storm, the league's most feared pitcher joining baseball's most dominant dynasty. From 1999 to 2003, Clemens became a key weapon in the Yankees' arsenal. Adding 2 World Series rings to his collection, he wasn't coasting on reputation. He was still firing fastballs past legends, still pitching like every batter was an enemy. By 2003, with 300 wins under his belt, Clemens announced retirement. It seemed fitting, a decorated warrior walking away at the top. But legends don't stay gone. In 2004, he shocked the baseball world by returning, this time with his hometown Houston Astros. 42 years old, most players are long gone. Clemens, instead, delivered one of the greatest age-defying performances in history. He won his 7th Cy Young Award, a record still unmatched. That year and the next, he led Houston into uncharted territory, helping them reach their first-ever World Series in 2005, even though the Astros fell short. Clemens had cemented himself as a once-in-a-lifetime competitor. His work ethic was brutal, his intensity never faded, and his ability to reinvent himself left fans in awe. In 3 decades of baseball, Clemens had rewritten what was possible for a pitcher. From the dominance of Boston to the resurrection in Toronto, the championships in New York, and the age-defying brilliance in Houston, he proved that the Rocket wasn't bound by time. But every great rise carries shadows. For Clemens, they were about to arrive. As the 2000s wore on, whispers grew louder. In December 2007, the Mitchell Report shook baseball to its core, naming nearly 90 players accused of using performance-enhancing drugs. Among them, Roger Clemens. His former trainer claimed he had injected Clemens with steroids and human growth hormone. For many, the accusations struck at the heart of his legend. Could the Rockets' longevity have been artificially fueled? Clemens fought back, sat for a nationally televised interview, flatly denying the charges. He claimed the only injections he received were B12 and lidocaine, common in the game. But the storm didn't stop. In early 2008, Clemens testified before Congress, under oath, repeating his denials. Former teammate Andy Pettitte told the committee that Clemens once admitted to using HGH. Clemens said Pettitte misremembered. The drama only grew. By 2010, Clemens was indicted on perjury and obstruction charges. It was a shocking fall. From Hall of Fame hopeful to facing prison, his first trial ended in a mistrial, but in 2012, a second trial followed. After weeks of testimony, Clemens was acquitted of all charges. Legally, he was cleared. But in the court of public opinion, the scars remained. When Clemens became Hall of Fame eligible in 2013, voters were divided. Stats were undeniable. 354 wins, over 4,600 strikeouts, and 7 Cy Youngs. Numbers that belong in Cooperstown. But year after year, he fell short. Many voters unwilling to overlook his connection to the steroid era. In his final year on the ballot, 2022, he reached 65%, short of the 75% required. And so, Roger Clemens' story remains complex. He was brilliance and controversy in equal measure. A man who pitched with fire well into his 40s, but whose reputation will forever carry shadows. Whether or not the Hall of Fame ever calls, Clemens left a mark no one can erase. He was the rocket built to burn bright, burn fast, and leave behind a legend that baseball will never forget.